Hello everyone, welcome back, good evening. It's Thursday. I wish it was Friday, but no, we're almost there. We're almost there to end the week at last. Deserved because, hold on. It's too loud. Okay. Yeah, bit of a volatile, I don't know why I want the week to end. I don't know, I'm just excited for other stuff, I guess. Mainly my birthday. I don't know why. I just want to be 24. I want to get old and die already, am I right? No, I'm kidding, not really. But anyways, that apart, today was an interesting day for Bitcoin. Had a bit of a rise at last, regaining what we lost yesterday. We were selling off live after the FOMC meeting. Everything was, in my opinion, everything was fine. But we just decided to do our sell-off anyways, so hey, so be it. For the time being, Bitcoin is still in its uptrend. I managed to enter long. We predicted where price would slow down at, which was 89,416 is what I said. We actually hit a low point later on of 89,230. $200 difference, give me a break, we're fine. So we managed to bounce from this line or pivot level and bounce upwards. And I did the right thing of waiting till midnight, entering a long position, sleeping on it. We had no volatility. This is you'll see I bought right over here. This is the trade I basically made, and yes, I did take some profit on it automatically today on its own. Great, excellent, love it. So this is 1 in a million trade, lifetime trade. Okay, I'm not perfect, I'm not the best, but there's that humble brag. Okay, bought it at 11:30 right before I went to bed. I saw that we came out of being oversold, right? I'm like, dude, we're entering a overnight session, we should be fine. We stayed flat throughout the whole night, started getting some volatility around 9:45, 10 a.m. For whatever reason, it started off toward the downside, but we started pushing ourselves back up a little, stayed around, you know, that kind of volatility where we hit our lowest point of 89,230. But I kind of realized, like, I don't know, I was a bit nervous, I'll admit that, but I still said, yeah, we should be fine. We should be able to hit 93,000 because we are technically in an uptrend. We should be making higher lows, higher highs. So I know this is not necessarily our higher high, especially because I'm in a 15-minute chart. I'm in a bit of more zoomed in when it comes to the time frames. So you're going to get some false positives, or yeah, whatever you want to call it. Not everything is going to work out as planned, but the overall trend is what I'm trying to say, is what worked out in my favor, and it ended up hitting that take profit, so that was excellent. Not only that, but I doubled down actually. I went into Solana, and that's currently doing well. Kind of the same deal here. Stop loss at like 127, I think I put it. I just pushed it above to break-even territory, so positive $7 if this does just crash against me. I don't know whether or not to be greedy here. I think I might just take profit. Yeah, I think I will. To close out of that, guarantee $100. Congrats. There you go. Moving on. I know it's whatever. I'm losing a lot more on the rest, which, yeah, I do regret entering those, but I'm doing things right this time. Entering with a stop loss, taking my profits where I'm supposed to. I originally had to take profit for 140, but it's like, it's not even a perfect 1-to-3 risk reward ratio that I wanted compared to what I was risking. I was risking 50 to make 150, but that same deal was with Bitcoin. Here, in this case with Solana, I don't know, 140 resistance seems a little bleak to me, and the fact that we hit overbought around this area, yeah, it's not really convincing me that we can continue higher, or too high at least. I still think we will go higher from here, like speaking in the macro trend, the 4-hour chart. Yeah, it should be fine, but come on, look how many green candles we have. Surely we slow down a little. That's why I don't want to be part of that. I'll take the profit while it was at 100. Okay, moving back to Bitcoin. So those are the little trades that I've been doing. Yes, crime season is back. Overall, though, it's about that time where we're running out of time and things, we got to start being more cautious about what we're about to meet up against, right? We see a downtrend over here for Bitcoin, coinciding with this resistance, which I'm going to start to admit, I'm not even going to kid myself, We've met with that resistance multiple times now, around 94,500 to about 95,000, right? That's where we have the resistance level marked. So my confidence for us trying to breach that level, I don't know where to really put it, honestly. What the, how do I even explain this? Okay, I'm at a loss for words. What normally happens, what's supposed to happen, is the more you, like, poke at a resistance or support, whatever it is, the less likely it is to hold, and eventually it will, like, break out. It's like you trying to break out from, dude, I don't know, the sewers. You're, like, punching the lid to try to get out. The more you punch, the weaker it gets, until you eventually burst right through that, and you emerge. I don't know, terrible analogy, but that's kind of what I'm trying to say over here. That can take us to 98,000 if this downtrend does get broken, / resistance, right? We do have the super trend in our favor still. That doesn't mean that we're going to immediately go up higher from here. We can hypothetically, in theory, drop to 86,000 and even go retest this area once again. That's totally valid, and it would still signify that we are in an uptrend. No big change here, although I would expect this 86,600 to start rising soon, especially as we lateralize around this zone between 91 to 93,000. This should start coming back up on the rise to about maybe 87 or 88,000, the super trend and validation zone. So that's another thing we should be paying attention to. We're approaching the end of this week, so I don't know. For tomorrow, I don't think I would expect too much volatility. There's nothing really happening tomorrow. When are we getting... I've been hearing a lot about Japanese bond yield, whatever it is. Whether or not we're getting an interest rate hike. I think that was the important thing. That's like the last barrier that's standing in our way. And I don't know when that's happening, though. But I do have an article talking about it. We will for sure get into that when we do our news section. Where is Japan? Have I forgotten my alphabet? Japan. Okay, now we're including literally every country in the world. Thank you. I literally have only Japan and United States. No, clear. Japan, United States. Save. Thank you. Japan, no one cares. Yeah, that's nothing. I could probably just look this up. I don't know why I'm doing it this way. Alright. Hello, Dean B. Welcome. I'm good. How are you? Japan. Bank of Japan. Interest rates decision. Okay, I don't want to... Next one. Come on, bro. Okay, this is just... This is who's going to replace your job one day, by the way. Yeah, we'll look at Oracle. Sure. One sec. December 19. Okay, that's more like it. Friday, December 19. So why don't I see this here? Okay, December 17, 18, 19. It's not here. Am I crazy or what? Okay. I don't know. We can look this up later. Fine. Whatever. I'm just trying to find when is this Bank of Japan rate decision happening. Okay. So Oracle, right? I saw they had good earnings, but their stock price was crashing. Indeed. Good for entry. Although don't forget we are in a downtrend for it still. Good support level for it though was about like... It was in the 160s, I believe, based off Fibonacci retracements. I was looking at this earlier today. Oracle. And I still think Oracle, I mean, it would depend on... It kind of would depend on... Yeah, 166, good support level. But from here, I don't know, you're kind of entering blind. And you've got a downtrend starting to go on for it, so... If I was to enter this, I'd probably DCA 166 to go long on it. Otherwise, entering short, you're a bit too late to the party. Although there's no real clear sign as to when to do that. But yeah, I'd look for 166. with Oracle. Another thing is that, what's his name? Larry Ellison, second richest man in the world, right? David Ellison, the son, owner of Paramount, is trying to acquire Warner Brothers, which right now it seems more likely that Netflix is going to be acquiring that. I'm sure they're going to do something to kind of get Trump to downplay, because Trump is involved in this too. He has to kind of like approve this or something based off my understanding. And he's probably going to favor somebody who has donated a lot of money to him, mainly Larry Ellison. And he's going to put a word in for his son and say, hey, let Paramount purchase Warner Brothers. If that does happen, should be benefiting their stock, hopefully. Right now, Warner Brothers is the only one that's just skyrocketing because of this, because yeah, we're getting bought out. That's awesome. They're going to take a huge stake in our shares. That's good. Now, when it comes to Oracle itself, aren't they going to buy like TikTok and a lot of other media companies? I think that they will have a good future. So this that we're seeing right now, it's still like, even right now would be a decent opportunity if you want to like start getting exposition. Sure, now is great. Below 200, awesome. But I, like me personally, I would be more patient. I'd go for 166, maybe. I don't really invest in US stocks. Only if we have like a Canadian derived version of it, I would, but I don't think Oracle has a Canadian version. Oh, well. No, I don't think this is the same one though. That's a different one. Yeah, no, I don't think we do. But yeah, that's kind of what I would analyze from this, what I'm seeing here. I wonder if you're able to get it at 0.618. That would be the 204 level. We're kind of below that. You mean TET out? What do you mean TET out? I think you might have misspelled that. But yeah, anything from here, still decent in my opinion, to get into it. Yeah, I still see good stuff for Oracle. Come on, second richest man in the world. He's going to do something to make this thing go up. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. No problem. What else we got? Ethereum. So we're at 3,250 right now. Didn't rise as much as Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you know, had a much larger move. Overall 2% up. Ethereum's about to be 1% up. Nothing too crazy though. We bottomed out at 3,144, still maintaining our uptrend. 3,000, still super important level for Ethereum. Important support level. Would be difficult to break that. This downtrend line, I think we're good to remove. I'm sure we have another larger one. Yeah, we do. Overshadowing the rest. But this does give us some clear way for Ethereum to start rising once again. Your first resistance, 3,300. And then 3,525. I wouldn't expect anything larger for that, for this week at least. So yeah, it looks good. Ethereum's looking good. And once again, I'll admit that I've treated Ethereum a little bit too harshly in the past. Solana, we did the profit thing, that's fine. Yeah, it's still got room to rise, honestly, but I just don't want to be exposed to the volatility. So I just locked in the profits just now, so that's why. Still, the uptrend is there. That's good. I don't like how long this has been going on for since December 4. Surely this is eventually going to have to start rising. I don't know. We're kind of dangerously close to it. We were dangerously close to it a couple points here of invalidating the uptrend is what I'm trying to say. But in reality, like I've mentioned before, we've just been lateralizing, staying in this zone, this range. Kind of waiting for Bitcoin and Ethereum to make the big moves before Solana actually starts breaking out anything above 145. With all these all-time highs, wouldn't you be bullish on everything? I kind of am still, and I still have a lot of long positions here. Admittedly, they are all in the red, but yeah, 137 to sell for Solana. I was aiming for 140 originally. Anything above 140, because I've noticed that we're in a range. Is that what you call it? I know the name in Spanish, right? But not in English for whatever reason. Trying to draw this. You kind of see this, right? Anytime we're below here, we start rising. Anytime we're up here, we start dropping. So I kind of tried following that same pattern. Now that we were down over here, I decided to purchase this morning at about 132, I think. No, 130. Okay, crazy. I surprised myself. And I was in here with the idea of, yeah, maybe about 140 plus, I'll take profit from the position. But I got greedy a bit early right now, so I just decided to sell. I locked in 100 profit there. Wyckoff range, yep, precisely. So I wouldn't say it's a perfect zone to sell, but like realistically, I would have probably waited until 140, but whatever, I got greedy. Decided to sell now. Because either way, right now I'm long on everything else. I have another Solana position open, but that's just like terrible version of DCA. Since like 171, 172, that's where my entry price is. So I'm pretty far down below when we're talking about this. So still doing small trades in between here, but that's kind of the ideology you gotta have. A lot of people though, they're thinking that crypto specifically is in a bear market now, and they've got a good reason to believe that. I've been discussing this for a long time, the fact that the bulls have such a strong case to be bullish, but then so do the bears. We're at the end of the cycle. People think that we're getting recession next year. The economy's not going to do great. Tariffs is going to ruin everything. Inflation's going to ruin everything. I know, a bit pessimistic. And also the fact that meme coins ruined the whole ecosystem. We didn't hit, euphoria for this bull run or whatever, or we kind of have been rising since 2023. We deserve to be dropping. Weekly charts are all in a negative downtrend. So none of it's looking good in that case, sure. But if you pay attention to the fundamentals, there's just so much good stuff going on. A lot of banks are buying, easy access to get into crypto. We're seeing a lot of projects improve themselves, right? We saw Ethereum have their upgrades, and just, natural stuff going on within the ecosystems, right? Bitcoin taking its effect, right? People that mine Bitcoin with the price that it is right now, it's almost like unaffordable to keep doing mining, which means price does have to start rising. And we're also seeing the stock market still hitting all-time highs. Silver still hitting all-time highs. Gold recently did hit all-time highs. Still pretty high as well right now. So everything else, and we know that global liquidity is also at an all-time high. That kind of money is supposed to eventually flow into the crypto markets. We're expecting a new Fed chair that is more pro rate cuts. Although I don't think that will change too much. It's still, good to have this. We have a pro crypto administration. So many bullish cases, right? I could go on and on. But yeah, that's, in my opinion, reading all those headlines, we should be like 4 times as high as right now. No, I'm kidding. But like, still, you get the point, right? There's a good case for both. So which one do you want to pay attention to, right? In my opinion, it's always best to hold spot DCA that way. And then just trade trade with the trend, right? Whether it's up, whether it's down, go with the flow. Because you're not going to control it. The big guys are going to control it. And they absolutely have. They drove price down from 110,000 to 80,000. Why? Because JP Morgan starts saying, oh, MicroStrategy is a terrible company. They're going to be removed from the indices and they're garbage. Your Bitcoin profit is losing now. And they did it. They, caused a lot of liquidations, caused everything to just crash in price. Somehow altcoins kind of survived, but we kind of figured out the suspicion that the main foot was on Bitcoin, right? And then after that, they're like, oh, by the way, now that whole stuff is old news, we're pro crypto now. We're buying again. ETFs are starting to rebuy. So it's all just a lot of manipulation. You just got to go with the flow. When you see everything is in a downtrend, you got to start shorting with it. I could have done that, but I just decided to keep longing against that without knowing where the floor was going to be. Yes, I did kind of predict some bounces, but they weren't obviously enough to, not even a dead cat bounce was enough to see my numbers in the positive. it ended up liquidating one of my positions, two of them actually, in Cardano and Bitcoin. The rest of these are still, you know, suffering, but eventually I'm still sure, I still have a bullish mindset. I still think that we will be recovering for 2026. How high? Don't know. Which projects will survive? At least these ones. Maybe, I don't know, I don't want to say not Sui. I think Sui will be fine. Stellar as well. I don't know, I feel like not even XRP will do well. So not even, maybe Stellar won't do that well either, but I still have faith in it. I do like Stellar, so I'm keeping those. Yeah, that's kind of what I see here. Great, great. I'm glad we agree. Sui is up 5% after dropping, what is this? 10%. So we're like about halfway there on our way up. It's still good overall. Recent hours we're still rising, $1.63. Sui is brutal. You're in at $4? That is crazy, dude. So was I. No, I don't think specifically at 4, but where was I? I was over here, 320s, 330s, really feeling good about this thing almost rising to $4. And then we dropped to what, 50 cents? October 10. Nobody survived that. And if you did, you're lying. I'm talking in like perpetual futures markets, right? No amount of leverage would have saved you. This thing dropped like 80, 90% in 2 minutes and then rose back up. What is this percentage? 300%, no big deal. Back to costing a normal $2. And now we're at 163. But I mean, it's kind of surviving. It feels like people haven't fully lost faith in Sui yet. So we kind of still have that going on for us. This larger downtrend line, though, it's, if I'm not mistaken, which one was that? Oh, it's awfully resemblant of Bitcoin, right? We also have another downtrend that's overshadowing us pretty soon. So we might see a similar kind of reaction between Sui and Bitcoin. But obviously Sui is more volatile. It will have a larger kind of movement. And I'm still betting on that, of course, thinking that it will have a larger movement toward the upside. Toward the downside, how much lower can we go here? What's going to push us down? Maybe the inflationary nature of it. That's about it. I still think Sui is a great ecosystem, great Solana killer. So I still have my faith in it. But you can never marry your bags. That being said, anyways, 170 resistance level for it. Still on an uptrend. It validates at 142. I've been waiting to draw the uptrend line. I guess I was waiting for yesterday's drop because drawing it from here to here, like that doesn't really make too much sense. I mean, these 2 points, right? Now that we've made a low yesterday, we kind of use that to support the uptrend vision, right? So I like what I'm seeing here. We gotta wait and see how we react in the next time we approach this 171. But like I said, it's a similar kind of price action to what we're seeing with Bitcoin. So all eyes on Sui for that. Like, okay, great. Hyperliquid. I did the same deal yesterday. Bought, sold over here. Survived the crash. Wasn't part of it. I didn't re-enter. But we're in a downtrend for it nonetheless. There's no uptrend. There's no defending Hyperliquid here. It is in the downtrend. It is what it is. And it also just recently flipped its weekly trend in the bearish zone as well, which that's not something I liked. So I still think Hyperliquid will do well. Best decentralized exchange out there. Matter of fact, I kind of want to move over there, but restricted region. I follow the laws sometimes. So yeah, I don't know. I'll just let it do its thing. I'll still invest in it though. Great buybacks, great ecosystem, like I said. I still think it'll do well. It'll be the best decentralized exchange compared to all the other ones that we have. Great blockchain. It's got a lot of stuff going on for it. And I'm sure it's always going to have like the largest trading volumes, so to speak, compared to any other decentralized exchanges. Aster's cheating. They use Binance data, so don't believe that. Aster's not going to $4. Too inflationary, too many token unlocks still waiting to happen. So it's going to be rough for something like Aster to beat Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid will still remain on top. But when this does break its downtrend, okay, I'm going to be a bit more optimistic here, which I would estimate to be, let's give it some more time, maybe about 31 Okay, fine. $32 plus. After we get confirmation of a breakout from there, I'd be willing to find a new long position. Stop loss below 26. I don't know. It feels like that is too far. Okay, I'm going to draw what I want to see from Hyperliquid. First of all, we can lateralize a while longer here, sure. That super trend dropped to kind of this level, if this level is going to be our resistance. So if we're looking at about $31.33, we break out from it. We hit whatever new resistance level we get next week, right? We drop back here, super trend flips over into the green. I don't know, we have our little correction. This would become oversold. That's where I'd enter. Go long. Confirming after we've exited, the oversold position. Go long, something like this. And enjoy the ride. Because from here, hypothetically, or in theory, we should start seeing higher highs, higher lows, if super trend is going to start being in our favor from here once again. I don't know how we're going to draw this uptrend line, but it's going to be maybe like that. I don't know. I don't really like to trust October 10 drop because every chart is going to be a little different on whatever happened October 10. So it's up to anyone's judgment. We got to wait and see how this performs. So right now I'm just going to stay out of it. I did try trading this. I know, being a little bit of a rebel, but I didn't make too much on it. It was whatever. It was more like FOMC kind of trading. I wanted to get the volatility from the Federal Open Market Committee, Jerome Powell's comments, hoping that it would boost the price up a little. It kind of didn't, so that's why I exited right after. That was all yesterday's story, though. Chainlink, it's in its uptrend still. 1281 is where it invalidates. Current price is $14 flat. I wanted to see it above 15. 15 is a major resistance for it. 1343 is where we have pivot support. That's where we slowed down the movement yesterday. Not a lot of recovery so far. But we have an uptrend going on for it, which is good. And same deal that I drew for whatever the other coin was. I think it was Sui. We now have an uptrend case for this. So we have two low points that we can draw this. And hope that it goes well. So, or maybe there's a longer term one. I haven't looked at this in the daily chart yet. Okay, well, October 10 ruins everything, like I said. I'm just going to ignore that then. Go back to 4 hours, move on. BitTensor 300, finally. Right on the dots, $300. We're still keeping our uptrend for BitTensor, having coming up December either 14 or 16. Come on, man. When is Tau halving? Why is this is not the AI generated response? Dude, just tell me the number, the date, December 14. Okay, there you go. That's happening. Does that mean that December 14th this is gonna shoot up to the moon? No, it won't. Okay, this is supposed to already be priced in, but this is supposed to have a good long-term effect. It's basically the Bitcoin tokenomics of how the halving impacts it in a 4-year cyclical type movement. So that should be good for it, as long as the demand is there to keep up, of course. I still have an open position at 356. That's never going to happen, am I right? No, I think this is probably my best, okay, my least worst position. It's not my best, obviously, but compared to the rest of the positions that I have with Solana, Ethereum, Stellar, Link, Sui, I think BitTensor is my preferred one on how quickly we can recover, and that's about it, honestly. How quickly we can recover. Just want to see these numbers turn green again. We need to be above 356. So, yeah, I think we can do that. Absolutely doable. And having event will only help us, which is good. Same deal here. I think I could draw an uptrend for this. Let's go ahead and do that. I don't like this. There we go. Okay, I like it. Moving on. Aptos. Still doing its thing where it goes lower and lower, and it doesn't stop going lower. Yeah, I'm still staying out of it until we see this trend flipping over. I'll be late. I'll be entering at about $2 plus, but I want to confirm that this is not going to keep on dropping. And Aptos is same situation as Sui, right, with its inflationary nature, but Aptos is a little bit more inflationary, but that means, more risk, more reward. Yes, Aptos will have a much larger recovery than SUI. Right now, they're both worth about the same in terms of dollar amount. SUI is 163, Aptos is 173. If you add, I don't know, $1 billion in market cap, SUI will go up to, I'm just going to give you a random number, $2. Aptos will be $2.30, for example, something like that. Hello, Crypto Squid. Damn it, didn't let me know you were on. Oh, you're a notification gang. Oh, much appreciated. Really, huh? YouTube is already trying to censor my channel? That's awesome. Great news. No, but welcome, man. Thanks. And honestly, I did kind of start a little late, admittedly. About, when did I start? Like 20 minutes late? There's just not so much news to go over today. I tried, okay? No, but there is still stuff to talk about, which we will be getting into really soon. It's just like nothing too relevant for crypto. It's more geopolitical, but we'll be getting into it nonetheless. So yeah, that's all my analysis for the coins that we review. If you guys want to review anything else, just let me know, of course. All right, let's get to it. We had economic data coming out today. United States initial jobless claims. So we were expecting 220,000 jobless claims. We got 236,000, so above expectations here. What does this mean? More people are claiming unemployment, which means that job market is indeed suffering. The rate cut that we just got yesterday should help with this. We are focusing more on jobs instead of inflation for now. I watched the press conference from Caroline Leavitt today. She did confirm that, yes, inflation, it is on the way down. She mentioned that, previous administration, that Trump left Joe Biden with a 1.7% inflation. COVID happened. The inflation rose to 9%. They, quote unquote, brought it back under control, and it was a high percentage, 2.9 something. And then after that, we've now reduced it to about 2.5, 2.4. I don't remember the exact numbers, but we're on track, right, to meet the 2% inflation target. It was kind of her remarks. So I think the Fed, yeah, we can finally stop worrying too much about inflation or how tariffs might impact it. They're focusing more on the job market. That's why we got our rate cut. Same deal with the past two meetings that we got rate cuts on. Same kind of deal. So yeah, there's the economic data. We dumped after a bullish FOMC from the Fed yesterday, and here's a huge explanation as to probably why. We had a front-running pump, which is true. We were rising before and during the whole thing. The first thing to understand is that the rate cut was not a surprise. The odds were at 95%. Well, my sources told me 87, 89, whatever. Still very high percentage chance, and since what would have been November, end of October, November, I've been calling it. I'm like, dude, we're absolutely going to get a rate cut. We saw the odds go completely against us. We were at like 20% chance that we're getting a rate cut and 80% chance that we were maintaining rates. And that is why we were dropping for a good portion of November. And then, things started picking back up. I mean, we did get little bits of data. The rest of it kind of got delayed or just altogether canceled. And that kind of just made us believe, you know what? We should be getting the rate cut. And we did. So I was right. That's why you guys watch the channel. I'm kidding. No, I don't know anything. Last week, many large traders started positioning early because they expected the Fed to add some form of liquidity support, which resulted in a rally. So when the Fed announced the cut and the $40 billion month in treasury bill purchases, the whales started taking profits, which created the first leg of the sell-off. Number two, future rate cuts uncertainty. Powell's press conference added a layer of uncertainty. He said the labor market is weak and inflation is still too high. Sure, pal. Also, the Fed dot plot showed chances of only one cut in 2026, which the market saw as a bearish signal. For your reference, what we are expecting as a market, flashbang warning, is actually 2 rate cuts for 2026. The fact that the Fed only projected 1, it was kind of like this mixed feeling of, oh, come on. we're getting one rate cut, but it's only one rate cut. That's just us being greedy, right? And well, yeah, prices got punished because of that. First rate cut's probably going to happen in March, subject to change. I cannot talk. And then July of 2026 as well, the second rate cut. A third rate cut, probably not likely. Maybe in 2027, depends on how the data rolls out. But the chances are still there. Rate hikes are completely off the table. Don't worry about that. Which should be good overall. That's why I think 2026 will still be a good year. Why would we be in a bear market even as rates are getting cut? It's kind of what I want to envision here. Okay, after that, the US market closed and then the real dump started. And then Oracle earnings, also basically what we were just talking about earlier in the stream. Oracle reported its second quarterly earnings or quarter two earnings after the market closed, and the numbers were not that good. They missed the adjusted revenue, and also their capex spending estimates went up. This caused a lot of fears with the AI bubble thing, just on a side note. Again, for whatever reason, the fact that they have too much debt to pay and that the company's not going to generate enough revenue and they're going to collapse. I still think they will do good. And I think this AI bubble thing is just bear FUD, whatever you want to call it. It's just to make people spooked. The stock itself dumped more than 11 to 12% in aftermarket, and it also took down US stock futures. The reason everything dumped after Oracle's earnings is the market thinks the AI bubble is reaching its peak. Oh no, AI bubble. Dude, you're fine. The fear spread fast across equities and then into crypto as well. Whatever, dude. Now all three factors hit the market at the same time. The rate cut was fully priced in. Liquidity trades were already front run. Powell did not give a strong easing signal. He did announce the Treasury bill thing, but he said that's not the beginning of quantitative easing, although it kind of is, but he didn't formally announce it that way yet. So, a bit of uncertainty there. Oracle earnings triggered fear about AI and tech demand. Profit taking started as soon as uncertainty increased. So this combination created a clean dump, not because the Fed was bearish, but because the expectations were too high going into the meeting. Yeah, I guess I should have talked about this yesterday while it was happening, but we were in the middle of it, okay? Come on, give me a break. I still went long because I still had conviction that this thing would still go up, and it did. But yeah, we're fine. Underneath the volatility, the bigger picture did not change. So we have now the rate cuts in our hands, which is what we wanted, so you should be celebrating that. They will buy $40 billion in treasury bills over the next 30 days. The T-bill purchases may remain elevated for months. Powell said a rate hike is not anyone's base case. Like I said, that is completely off the table. The Fed expects solid economic growth next year. That is also a good thing, better than expected. Job gains were overstated, which means that the labor market is softer than assumed, and a softer labor market gives the Fed more flexibility to ease again if needed. If needed. I still think we will. 2 rate cuts for next year. I'm willing to place my bets on it. Not actually, I don't know. Is there a polymarket poll for that? We'll see. Markets dumped today because expectations were ahead of reality, not because the fundamentals turned bearish. Everything is still bullish, like I said. The next year is still going to be pretty much more liquidity friendly than 2025, and the market still has not priced that in yet. Awesome. What is this? So far, they've already started buying. They just bought $12.5 billion of its own debts, the US Treasury. It's the largest buyback ever in history. The debt buybacks bring bond yields lower. This makes borrowing easier and provides liquidity support. The Fed is also starting its T-bill buying today, which will help add liquidity into the system. And here's the big thing. The only major fear is the Bank of Japan interest rate decision. If there is no rate hike that happens, then we can start getting a Santa rally. This whole talk, I've never talked about the Santa rally before, but I'm starting to hear it come up a bit more. I don't want to push the narrative because, you know, we've talked about Uptober, Moonvember, and then what happened? We had the biggest liquidation event in history and the worst month, the worst November. I think it was the worst November. I don't recall. In Bitcoin's history, or one of the worst, right? A red November, nonetheless. We don't want to see that. It's usually the most bullish month, but, well, here we are. So, the Santa rally, what happens with it is about in the middle of this month, December 15, my birthday, that's when things are expected to start rising until about January, early January. I think it might happen. We deserve it, dude. And it might be, you know, the continuation of what I thought was indeed the start of something bigger. I announced that around when we flipped the 4-hour trend over here. I pretty much flipped my case back to, yeah, I think we're kind of back. And we can start rising again. Once again here, okay, BOJ decision date. Please give me the actual date. Because this tells me it's Thursday, October 30. I go to AI mode. It tells me it's Friday, December 19. But then when I go to the actual economic calendar, it does not tell me that on December 19 there is anything from Japan. And I have Japan enabled. I do. So, summary of opinions. Come on, brother. Who's the liar here? BOJ. Unless this one doesn't show. Oh, it showed right here. Interest rate decision. When is this? Thursday, December 18. Oh, time zones. Okay, I forgot time zones exist. That is on me. So this is happening at 10 p.m. because over there it's going to be 10 a.m. Right. Okay. Well, we expect a potential rate hike. That's not good. If we do hike rates, okay, this is December 18. That's next week. Next week, Wednesday. Wednesday night. We'll probably be seeing this happening live. I should write that down. Let me get a pen. I have so much stuff written down on this sheet of paper, I don't even think I'll notice it. I'll remind myself to add this to a calendar later, after the stream. Interest rate at 10 p.m. Thursday, December 18. I hope I'm not working on that day. Whatever I decide to do with my life, I'm supposed to start working December 29, but I just had another interview today, and I don't know if I might start working with another company instead. I don't even know, dude. They have to like call me back to confirm whether or not I'm good to start working. Yeah, well, there you go. I've only got one brain cell left. Let's move on. Let's go. President Trump considers eliminating taxes on gambling winnings. Please do it. We love gambling. Not really. This is not gambling what I do. This is actual analysis. This is a real career. This is real money. There's real strategy in here. It's not like you're flipping a coin. No, you kind of are. I've had people come up to me and say, "Oh, this trading stuff that you do, isn't that just basically gambling?" And it's like, yeah, but not really, dude. Not really. But I mean, like, when we're talking about actual gambling, yeah, sure, casinos, of course, there's that. But come on, can we get this applied to maybe meme coins? Maybe Polymarket? Hey, maybe just a suggestion. I would be pretty content with that, you know. I enjoy using Pump Fun. I enjoy using Polymarket. Or I'm starting to. I haven't really done too much with it. The only trade I did was betting on, will Jerome Powell start off with a good afternoon? And I was right, obviously. 98% of people were right in thinking that. And it made, what, 20 cents? Whatever, dude. Hey, at least it's not going to be taxable. Or, I'm in Canada. Of course it's going to be taxed. Right? Unless I evade. No, I'm kidding. No, we don't do crime. We're good. The crime season, it's back. He did say all crypto, no taxes. Let's hope so, dude. Because we kind of need that. The best way to do it, I think, is what that one senator was proposing. Is you're allowed to pay your taxes in crypto, in Bitcoin specifically. And if you pay your taxes in Bitcoin, there's no capital gains on that. And the government will use that directly to put it into their treasury. That's a free budget neutral way of accumulating more Bitcoin without, you know, using taxpayer money kind of indirectly, right? You're getting paid in Bitcoin. You might as well just store it. There is that. But The income tax is one thing that he is actually going to be eliminating, possibly, because tariffs are so good. Let's just hope that is the case. Let's hope the Supreme Court doesn't rule tariffs illegal. But yeah. Just only USA platforms. Yeah, that's another thing, is I'm not in the US, so I'm cheering all of this on, but then I'm here in Canada and I'm like getting taxed out the bottom dollar that we earn here, so it's awesome. We give it all to Ukraine and we love it. We smile about it. What else we got? The Senate has voted against a bill to extend Obamacare subsidies. It is almost certain that insurance premiums will rise for millions of Americans at the end of the year. That's one thing that has some people concerned. And another thing that was talked about in the press conference with Caroline Leavitt today. Apparently Trump is looking into it and he's going to come up with something. So trust in Trump, you people, not me. The vote was 51-48 on both the GOP and the Democratic proposals. There are 60 votes needed because filibuster. That's still in effect, right? We didn't end the filibuster. Republican Senator Josh Hawley, no one cares. They voted for the Dem proposal. Rand Paul voted against the GOP proposal. Damn, Rand Paul, always the rebel. There you go. Here's Trump saying, remember when he doesn't look at the stock markets? Well, he's reporting that the stock market just hit an all-time high. When will the fake polls show that I'm doing a great job on the economy and much more? Thank you. Nowhere near. At that time it wasn't, but I don't know. Trump is a fortune teller because literally later on that day, we actually did hit an all-time high. At least in the S&P 500. That's the only one I really looked at, just to confirm. Fact check. This, my brothers and sisters, is indeed an all-time high. 6,922 on the S&P 500. How about NASDAQ? Let me go. Is it 200 or 100? I always mix it up. 100. Nothing yet here on the NASDAQ. I mean, fair enough. We're scared of an AI bubble at these heights. But Russell, I did note, was also doing pretty well. Where's Capital.com? Whatever, man. Yeah, that is an all-time high if I've ever seen one. This is mainly because it's like smaller cap companies and the Federal Market Open Committee, the rate cut decision, very much benefits small businesses. So that is part of the reason why this is on the rise. MicroStrategy is holding them down, though. They'll be kicked out by January. Don't worry. That's pretty funny. Okay. Thank you, Trump. Thanks for letting us know. Stock market is doing great. This is another thing that's going on here. Pretty interesting. Trump wants a new G7, which is... it's this alliance between a couple of countries. The good ones. Minus Europe, though. Yeah, really. He wants to exclude Europe. We're kind of getting into this little feud between the Europe... it's not really Europeans, but the European Union, I guess. That agency. The Trump administration is reportedly weighing a plan to ditch Europe and form an all-new economic alliance. It's going to include just the US, Japan, South Korea, Canada, and Australia. Subject to change. The idea is to build a like-minded bloc that bypasses what Trump insiders see as European bureaucracy, weakness, and constant roadblocks on China, trade, and defense. Yeah, but we're including China. Okay, literally next post, I'm going to read this. Oh, we talk about it here. An official who worked in the White House during Trump's first administration noted that the idea of creating a Core 5 or C5 alliance involved US, China, India, Japan, and Russia. It's no longer considered particularly shocking. Therefore, current talks of a whole new G7 shouldn't be surprising either. Translation is scrap the old G7, replace it with countries Trump actually wants to deal with. Canada's not included in here, by the way. While this potentially could shatter decades of transatlantic unity, supporters of this new G7 group would call it a long overdue reset that reflects where the real geopolitical power is shifting, which I would agree with. India, we are expecting great GDP growth. Russia, in my opinion, best country in the world. Just saying. Japan, we love Sanae Takaichi. And China, of course, they're awesome. Well, I don't know how I should rephrase that, but You know, China, they're economically very great. Okay, let's not kid ourselves here. Second, everything made in China, second largest economic power, maybe even military power in the world. I'm willing to give him that. Don't fact check me. A G7 without Europe, that's not a summit, that's a statement. It would reshape Western diplomacy entirely. We'll see how that goes. I mean, if we do involve these countries, which will now be USA, China, Russia, India, Japan, the C5, we don't got to worry about BRICS being an issue because Russia, India, China from BRICS won't be an issue, right? If they are now supposed to be our allies, whatever that means, people are going to look at this and be like, "Oh, you're going with a communist. You're going with war criminal Putin." I don't know what people think about Putin. You're going with these people from India, or I don't know. I think people like Japan. Yeah, dude, I don't know. What do you guys think? This rather radical move stems from Trump's belief that legacy institutions like the G7 and the UN no longer reflect real world power. I will admit, yeah, these countries, very powerful. So, good. There was a leaked document. Oh no. Take this with a grain of salt. It shows that the US wants to pull 4 countries out of the European Union as part of the Make Europe Great Again strategy. He wants Italy, Poland, Hungary, and Austria separated from the European Union. Why those countries specifically? I don't know. Italy, I might understand, but what is... okay, Poland is pretty based. I'll admit that. Hungary, come on, bro. That's not how you spell it. And Austria... what's with Austria? All I'm thinking about is Hitler from these two. Hungary, Austria. Whatever, man. And I mean, Europe is going a little crazy. The European Central Bank themselves, they think that Bitcoin is on the road to irrelevance. At the end of the day, guys, everyone gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve. You learned that from Harvard. I don't know why this is a thing, but it is. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. He is now involved in the Ukraine peace negotiations. What is this man doing over there? He is suddenly sitting beside Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner at the Ukraine negotiating table. Why do we need this billionaire? Just stick to buying Bitcoin for us, please. Actually, don't. Don't even stop buying our Bitcoin. You're taking up too much of the supply. You're manipulating the markets too hard. I don't know what to think about Larry Fink anymore. Should we be thankful for him? At the beginning, yes. We got a nice pump from Bitcoin throughout 2024 because BlackRock was saving our butts. We can't deny that. Everybody was selling, BlackRock was buying. Germany was selling. Grayscale, for whatever reason, was selling. Arguably, China might have been selling during that time as well. Huge fear of recession happened August 5 of last year. Battles in the Middle East continued, which BlackRock just soaked all of that up. And, well, here they are now, manipulating prices in your face. Teaming up with JP Morgan to spread FUD to MicroStrategy, crashing Bitcoin's price in recent months from 100K plus to now 80,000. And here we are trying to recover. I've been looked at their inflows recently. I'm sure they're buying back. Bitcoin's price is looking good. Where are you, Farside ETF? I don't know, a bit mixed here. Still seems to be more outflows than inflows. I don't know, that $192 million inflow yesterday is pretty good. These other ETFs are not really helping much either. But in total, though, they have $62 billion worth of accumulating Bitcoin. The biggest out of any of these ETFs here. This is a total. So overall, they've been a positive when it comes to the inflows specifically. It's just in recent times that we've seen a bit of outflows here, making the price stay shaky down over here. What to do with this man? Well, there he goes. Canada news, in case you care or asked. Another Conservative member of Parliament. This time I think it's real, because even the leader of the opposition currently, the Conservative Party, Pierre Poilievre, he did comment on this one. So it's real this time, I promise. Last time I talked about like a lot of random people switching teams, switching parties, and it turns out like 90% of them were just fake or satire, and I just fell for it like an idiot, like a fool. But it's okay, I fact-checked myself in real time. Another Conservative member of Parliament, Michael Ma, from Markham, I think he is, Markham Unionville. He crossed the floor to Mark Carney's Liberals. They are now one seat away from a majority government. The Liberals are taking over. He betrayed us. Pierre Poilievre commented on it, said, he was elected as a conservative by the constituents of Markham Unionville to fight against liberal inflationary spending driving up the cost of living in his community. Today, he chose to endorse the very policies he was elected to oppose. It's like that meme, right? You became the very thing you sought to destroy. The same policies driving up food prices and making life more expensive for all. The people he let down the most are the ones who elected him to fight for an affordable future. He will have to answer to them. Okay, I don't know. Obviously, it's not good. Now, we just need that one guy to flip over and just screw up the rest of the country here. The Liberals will have a majority government soon. That means also we're gonna just have to go along with it until, when? 2029? Before we get another election. So, there's that going on. What else we got? The CFTC, they just eliminated one of crypto's biggest regulatory roadblocks. The agency is withdrawing its outdated digital asset guidance, rules that have penalized Bitcoin and crypto markets for years. Here's the TLDR of what was just removed and why it matters. Out with the old rules. So the Commodities Future Trading Committee, dude, what does it stand for again? CFTC... Meaning, bro, just tell me the acronym. Commodities Future Trading Commission. Did I say that? I hope I did. Scrapped guidance that treated many digital asset transactions as if they needed a very specific, rigid form of delivery, which created legal uncertainty for exchanges, lenders, derivatives, platforms, and tokenized products. No more complex, unworkable requirements. The old framework was written before modern crypto markets existed, and they often penalized legitimate activity while adding compliance risk. The green light for tokenized products. Clearing the rule makes it easier to develop tokenized collateral, spot crypto settlement, derivatives, and structured products without tripping over outdated definitions. That's good for innovation. Regulatory clarity. Capital flow. It equals capital flow. With the barrier gone, institutions finally get clearer guidance, reducing legal risk and accelerating US onshore crypto activity. And lastly, it's a major step towards the Genius Act era. This is part of the CFTC's broader push to modernize digital asset rules, especially after launching its pilot program for Bitcoin, Ethereum collateral last week, which we did cover. This is major. Regulatory friction that held the industry back is finally being ripped out and replaced with clarity. Crypto asked for better rules, and the CFTC has actually delivered. Good. Let's hope that's beneficial overall. Like I said, there's just constant good stuff coming out. And the bad guys are leaving. The bad rules are out. This lady's gone. Anti-crypto, Caroline Crenshaw. My gosh. She is departing the SEC on January 18. She is the SEC's remaining Democratic commissioner and bigger crypto critic, even worse than Gensler. She's officially leaving the SEC in January. I don't know. Last we heard about Gensler, he was talking marvelous things about Bitcoin on a news show. Whatever, man. More good news for the crypto industry. This leaves the SEC with 3 Republican commissioners, 2 of whom were nominated by US President Donald. I love that. And are all pro-innovation. And also the SEC chair himself, Paul Atkins, very pro-crypto as well. Yeah, it will take time to get the bad people out, indeed. But as of right now, we have not yet announced a nomination to take her place. I'm sure it'll be someone obviously more pro-crypto. Get him out. We gotta get him out. What else we got? Revolut and Trust Wallet partnered to enable instant Bitcoin and crypto purchases in the European Union with 0 fees and self-custody. Yeah, do your thing. Please. The Europe needs our help. The Europe. This is relevant, kind of, because we touched on it yesterday. Somebody asked me about Terra Luna, and, well, coincidentally, this also happened. This happened today, by the way, so I don't know. Are you guys from the future? What's going on here? What's wrong with the time zones? Trump from the future, the Terra Luna from the future, Bank of Japan in the future. Oh my gosh. Kwon, this is the CEO or the founder of the Terra Luna project, popular back in 2021. I lost a lot of money. It was awesome. I also made a lot of money. No, not really. I was just up significantly in unrealized gains, but my whole stack was in staking, so it was locked up. Couldn't do anything throughout the whole collapse. When the staking period unlocked, I was left with $0, which was just marvelous. He is facing sentencing for that collapse. Prosecutors are pushing for 12 years, while his lawyers are fighting for a maximum of 5. The entire Terra ecosystem is dumping hard on the news. If you look at anything related to Terra Luna, so I'm assuming this is the stablecoin. Is that real? UST Classic? A stablecoin, not even worth a penny. Luna Classic, not even worth a penny. This was like $400 worth at one point. Oh, you too? Dude, yeah, I feel the pain. I don't know what AT is. I don't know what MET is. Luna itself, 20 cents. Yeah, wasn't there another one called like Luna 2? Or did it rebrand to Luna Classic? Or Luna itself? I don't know. Nobody's buying into this project anymore is my overall message, and I kind of clarified that yesterday, the fact that this guy was in the middle of trial or in prison at that point. I wasn't sure if he was already in jail, but it seems like now he is. This came out. Terraform Labs co-founder Kwon, he has been sentenced to 15 years in prison after pleading guilty to fraud conspiracy in the $40 billion Terra USD collapse. That's crazy. Prosecutors were fighting for 12. His lawyers were hoping for maximum of 5 years. The guy got 15 years in jail. None of it was worth it. I don't know. Are we treating him poorly? He was innovating for the right thing. It just executed terribly. I think that's also what CZ was talking about, right? I don't know. CZ was a bit more aggressive during that time. Even willing to blame Chris from Crypto.com. There was a whole exchange war, Terra collapse, FTX collapse. And then, CZ later on gets arrested for money laundering. Like, brother, what are we doing here? Lululemon is going to the moon because the CEO is resigning. That's crazy. Imagine being a CEO. Okay, yeah, first of all, that's never going to happen. Second of all, you announce your resignation, and then you see your own stock just shoot up in price. Like, that's just got to be depressing. Like, it's like the people want you out. You're worthless to them. That sucks. How much are we at? I don't trade Lululemon, but if you like female jogger pants, I think that's what they sell. You're having a great day today. Do not know why they do this. If my token was doing good, I keep it going, make that money. I know, right? Yep. Lululemon, wait, this is actually just clothes? Yeah, consumer non-durables, apparel, footwear. That's good. Call your mother. She might have that stock. Get out of here. So there you go. Who is the CEO anyway? It's this guy. No, it's not. Oh, okay. This is based. This is the founder. I don't think this is the current CEO. He says some women simply are too fat to wear leggings as the firm hits back. That's pretty funny. That's crazy though. You might short it. Usually when this happens, it goes back down. Be careful with that though, because it could be for a genuinely good reason. Is this, hold on, I haven't really looked. Was this after hours kind of movement? Yeah, we are overbought, so a correction is, it's not like it's off the table for that to happen. We also did just get earnings today. Oh, this is part of the reason why we're rising then. I don't think it's because the CEO is stepping down, although that's probably part of it. It seems like it was a net positive for the whole stock either way. Yeah, surely there might be profit taking. I'll agree with you here. How high have we been? 423. Oh, we've been even higher. Okay, hold on. Go to a weekly chart here. Oh, dude, we can, yeah. Wait, 187. Where were we? 211 is where this invalidates. 206. We hit a high of 209. Yeah, maximum 211. 211. That's where we got a resistance. From the weekly super trend to keep it in a downtrend. That's going to be like the last barrier for this to break before we can continue higher to maybe 243. But if you do that, that means the whole Lululemon stock itself will flip its weekly trend back into the green, and you should expect, you know, this to continue rising in the long term, potentially over to an all-time high in the long term, like I said. But for short term, if you do have access to this, yeah, good time to get out. Maybe. I would. I guarantee it, though. Let's just say we did. Okay, sure. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, perfect. We love that. Moving on. Elon Musk says that Grok will be used nationwide by El Salvador for personalized education. XAI confirms a new partnership with El Salvador and President Bukele to roll out Grok tutoring to every public school student, reaching more than 1 million children. Should we be giving kids AI? Shouldn't they learn stuff on their own? Unless AI helps them learn, but then what's the point of teachers? Question mark. Back in my days, we didn't have AI. Let them learn. These are what other stuff the kids are doing. In Australia, now that the social media ban took effect, we talked about it yesterday, we introduced the topic. Well, we're over here humiliating the Prime Minister of Australia as well, apparently. The kids say, oh, well, we're going to find an alternative anyways. Because that's another thing I said is like, I don't know if I said it on the show or if I was speaking to somebody else about the topic, but how are you going to enforce this? Like, yeah, sure, there's the government issued IDs and all that you have to submit, which some people kind of don't want to do. But then like, yeah, what if I just, as an adult, give my 12-year-old my tablet and is like, hey, there you go watch Instagram Reels or something. Dude, I don't know. How are we going to do this? How are we going to enforce this? Albanese had no answer. A teenage student confronted Australia's Prime Minister about the new social media ban for under 16s, telling him directly, it's a bad idea because we're going to find an alternative anyways. Kids will always find the alternative. His response is, well, that will get found out too. Haha. Cue the awkward laugh. The ban went into effect this week. Teens are already sharing workarounds using VPNs, fake birthdays, parents' face IDs, and even submitting photos of golden retrievers to pass age verification. This is replacing your job, by the way. If your AI takes a golden retriever, a dog, and passes it off as overage human, like, come on, what are we doing here? One teen told the Washington Post it worked. That's crazy. By banning teenagers from social media, you're quite literally leaving them to their own devices. What? They'll migrate to platforms not covered by the ban, like Discord and Roblox, which in my opinion should have been banned. Yeah, because they do have their predatory problems. But whatever, kids will always find the way is what it says. Now they'll just do it without parental oversight. Yeah, well, you hate to say it, a lot of parents are not very smart. Yeah, I know. I know, man, it sucks. And other people are just simply complaining about the whole privacy factor. There was a post, they just changed it to protected view, but from what I recall, hold on, let me read this. One lady is complaining saying, Elon, you sold out Australian Twitter users, because Twitter was part of the ban. So much for being the free speech platform. Now we only have free speech if we comply with government digital ID. And the original post was something about, oh, I don't want to submit my ID. I'm an adult and I'm in a free country and I want to just use my Twitter app or whatever other apps were banned for the kids. Because now you got to submit ID for all of that, probably. But then Ian Mousestrong makes a good point here. It would be illegal for X to break the law in Australia. He hasn't really betrayed anyone. If you're not happy with your laws, do same thing about them. Yeah, I don't know. We kind of don't get the say as to who is in power, though. I mean, you do get a say, but you're going to get a lot of people that disagree with you for whatever reason. Orange man bad when it comes to Canada's case. But yeah. Kids today get bored fast. You take that away from them, you have more crimes in certain areas. Yeah, probably. Or I don't know. My mom thinks it's a net positive because she's like, oh, those darn kids on their phones. Now they'll have good social interaction with each other. Like we used to do back in my days. Hey, maybe that's the case, but I don't know. Like, I disagree with some of the apps that were banned. Sure, ban like a good half of that list that was showing which apps were banned. I agree with them, but then there's other ones that should have also been banned. But then keep like the actually good ones. I don't know. Instagram is pretty safe in my opinion. That's the only one I really have. And Twitter. Well, I don't know. Twitter could be used for bad stuff. Who knows, dude? Moving on. Kind of in the same realm of things. And I've also introduced this topic yesterday, the whole government digital ID coming to Canada, coming to a phone near you. I don't know, near me. I'm in Canada. I'm going to suffer from this. Canada signs a deal with the European Union to make digital IDs interoperable across borders. You might think, yes, we can go travel to Europe with our digital IDs. Dude, we're all going to be controlled. It's the devil. I'm kidding here. It's called a Memorandum of Understanding on Digital Credentials, Digital Identity Wallets, and Trust Services. The translation is that they're just building the infrastructure for global ID compliance. Dude, this is going to be rolled out everywhere. This new Canada-EU Digital Pact follows the June 2025 commitment to align digital frameworks and establish interoperable digital identities. The Digital ID and Authentication Council of Canada, DIACC, terrible acronym, fully endorsed it, calling it a mutual recognition opportunity. Sure, pal. Canada and the EU will now jointly test and pilot digital identity wallets using a new expert forum to ensure both systems work together seamlessly. They'll also share data, best practices, and explore mutual recognition standards. That means that your Canadian digital ID could soon function under EU frameworks and vice versa. I don't want the UK laws in this country, dude. I want to post bad words on the internet and not get arrested for it. You know what I'm saying? Not that I do, but I mean, maybe I do. Sometimes I do. No, I don't. I don't do that. Anyways, man. This is being co-chaired by Evan Solomon, Canada's new Minister of AI and Digital Innovation. Hey, not my minister. So while Canadians struggle with housing, jobs, and inflation, Ottawa is laser-focused on biometric integration and cross-border surveillance tech. They're not hiding it anymore. That's true. Guys, you will own nothing and be happy. That's it. That's the message. Yeah, I don't like it either, man. I want to run away. I want to go back to Ecuador. I want to self-deport. What do I do? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Whatever. God's plan. We'll be fine. Overall, what even happened in these past couple minutes? Did I even talk about Bitcoin's price action at all? I kind of just showed off my trade and ignored what is currently going on with the price. Yeah, we hit a high of 93,541. I sold at 93 flat. 93,075, sure. And we're currently at 92,180. We've been crashing throughout the stream. Well, kind of rising and crashing. Nothing too crazy. Oh man, 1 hour, 13 minutes. Dude, we had nothing to talk about today and we spent a whole hour yapping. How did I do that? Okay. Let's see. Other personal updates from me. What are we doing? What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday. I'm doing nothing Friday. The weekend, I'll probably do something for my birthday. Right, family? We'll see. And then, what else we got? I have an interview for a bank on Tuesday. And then a Christmas dinner. Christmas concert. I've got a packed week next week. I just hope I actually don't start working until like maybe Thursday of next week. We'll see. Okay. Oh, you also took profits at 93,100 crypto squid. That's pretty good. You're now in short. Uh-oh. Well, I don't know. Me personally, I wouldn't short. Because we're still in an uptrend. This is my reasoning for it, why I wouldn't short. I mean, you could be right. Yeah, sure. Price is always going to move and it can just, you know, kind of trail its way back down here. Absolutely. But I'm still seeing that we're in an uptrend. Obviously, I don't expect this to like rise too high. Yeah, I kind of see your vision actually. Maybe we will retrace. Maybe we will make our lower low to about 87. Then I'll go long with all my strength, all my might. and I'll enjoy it. Right? Let's hope. Thank you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It's on the 15th, so still got some time before I have a midlife crisis at the age of 24. Am I right? No, but I'll be fine, dude. Okay. I think if it don't break 93,500, I see it going down. That's true. Yeah, because it is our local top. So you might be right in that case. I'd kind of agree with you. Although I still wouldn't go short. I'd kind of just let price fall and go long after. That's kind of what I would do. I wouldn't go short yet. Still young. Thank you, man. I don't know. I feel old. I feel like I've missed out on everything. I don't know. I understand. Yeah, I'm still young. I'm just very secluded, protected. I don't know. I don't go out too much. I need money. I can't just do what the women do for money. So you gotta do what the men do for money. Okay, great. That's all. That's all for tonight. Oh, dude, I just got a... Look, I got an email. Hold on. Let me read this out for you, just to show you guys what I got to deal with every day. Thank you for taking the time to explore a career opportunity with us at company name. Following careful consideration of your application, we regret to inform you that we will not be progressing with your candidacy for the position. We encourage you to stay informed about future openings and would be pleased to consider you for roles that may be a stronger fit for your skills and experience. Dude, I applied for like the perfect position. What are you talking about? Whatever, man. It's the Indians. They're taking our jobs. No, I'm kidding. I should not be saying this. And then I got another rejection email today. This is from Walmart. Thank you for your interest, Matthew. We appreciate the time you took to apply to us. Yeah, it was a whole 30 minutes of my life. At this time, we've decided not to move forward with your application for our blank position. This isn't the end, though. It is to me. If a position opens that closely matches your skills and experience, we may contact you as we have new positions that open all the time. My brother in Christ. What skills and experience would match what I have? This is a Walmart position, okay? Come on now. Or are we kidding? In the meantime, we encourage you to keep an eye on our career site. La, la, la. Okay, thank you, Walmart. Never shopping there again, by the way. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if I should do that. Like, all these companies that have rejected my application, it would be petty for me to just be like, yeah, I'm never going shopping there ever again. I don't know. I got accepted at, so, you know, Costco I would have a warm heart to still go shopping at because they're like, yeah, they're willing to hire me. That's good. You know, makes me feel happy. But then it's like, I'll have this like resentment towards Walmart. They're like, oh, when I needed a work the most, Walmart rejected me. They're not getting a single penny from me ever again. No, I shouldn't do that. That's cynical. Who knows, man? Okay, yeah, for real though, I'm done. I'm done ranting. Thanks guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, do you the thing with the like, and then that is all. I'll see you in the next video tomorrow, where we will be discussing absolutely nothing, but we'll find something to discuss nonetheless. Thanks for watching, okay? Have a good rest of your evening. Bye.